Pimpy got his power. What happened to your power?
This happened. I don't know. It's been happening a whole lot lately in our neighborhood. Weather most of the time, but these, for some reason, they're doing this. This is California, so do these random blackouts for some strange reason. And then when the power goes out, it'll affect my internet sometimes. So the power came back on. I was like, cool. But then there was no internet for the longest time. I'm like, gosh damn, if it ain't one thing, it's another.
So let's say what's up to our folks. I'm glad you're feeling better. Thank you for all your prayers, guys, for Pimpy. He really was going through a hard time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I gotta get my other glasses one of these times.
I have a bank story.
Pimpy.
I have a bank story. Well, did you know that they just connected to all the global systems? I just posted the article. The international
the article
global,
that
I gotta send it to you.
That one you sent me about the 1913 currency, and then the other one about the
IMF with Vietnam.
No, them coming off the exotic currency list.
Yeah, they're off the exotic currency. Indonesia, Vietnam, and IQD. I'll text you the screenshot.
So I explain it to people because that's a big thing. You know what I mean? And most people don't know what it means. And when you get off the exotic currency list, that means now their currency they have confidence that it could be stable enough to actually go on a Forex. So, the truth of the matter is at any time, if they want to, they can slap it right on there. But that's one of the things here. If you're on the exotic currency list, you're not going to go onto the Forex. So now that it's off, I was like, whoa, okay, that's interesting. Then in one article where they're talking to the Bank of England.
That's the BIS, Sims. That's the guy from the BIS. They are members of the BIS again.
No, they're not members yet, but okay, so the Bank of England sits on a powerful position with the BIS, okay? And that's one of the things that Iraq's over there letting them know that, amongst other things, letting them know that, hey, help us get into the BIS. So they're hoping that England can help them. But the other reason, now this could be interesting, the other reason why Iraq is over there talking to the people at the Bank of England is because they specialize in making really good banknotes, ones that are very sturdy, ones that don't rip and tear so easy, new designs, and a lot of security features. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. You can just don't assume it, but that's one thing that might make you say, they're thinking about redenominating, and that's why they're over there talking about the banknotes. Now, just because they're over there talking about the banknotes doesn't mean they're going to redenominate. You know what I mean? They're just looking at the security features and the technology and what they need to do. But it's kind of hard not to draw that conclusion because they've been talking about it for so long. So that on top of,
But Pimp, let me read you this. Hold on, I'm going to read you this. They're connected. Can one of my mods put what I just posted about them connecting to the global system with all the banks going international? And yes, Chief will be on too. What do you call? And then also Vietnam. Marco Rubio said about Iraq and Vietnam that they're both ready for international and prosperity and all that stuff. And the IMF gave the green light for Vietnam to basically. I sent you the article, and the fact that they like when I was at the bank and the guy told me that those currencies
for Vietnam to do what? No, I missed what you said. So what you said for Vietnam to do what?
The IMF gave them the green light to change their rate. I sent you that article.
Oh, does it say specifically to change their rate? Yeah. Well, they don't. Yeah. They don't need the IMF. They don't need the IMF's permission. They're under their own sovereignty. Their central bank.
Yeah, but they're saying that. They're saying basically that they need to change their value. Well, I'll explain more of that. But the thing is what I wanted to tell you is the banker, when I went to Wells Fargo, he told me my currencies are no longer on the exotic list. And then I went and checked like 2 days later, instead of saying exotic, it said minor. And then it said the currency, so say the Iraqi dinar is the first currency and USD is the second currency. Whereas before when they were in exotic, it was USD and then IQD. You understand what I'm saying? So by them coming off of there, they're off. I checked all of the OFAC yesterday and I posted it. Iraq, Vietnam, or Indonesia are no longer on the OFAC. What do you call it? And they don't have restrictions. Like they get free trade and everything. So, and then when today
That's
they're saying that,
you know, the fact that they're off the exotic list isn't good. It's a big step for them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Plus,
because
if you
now
add,
they could actively go on Forex because they're no longer an exotic currency.
yeah, they have the ability now to free float. They do. That's going on in Forex. But if you think about what that means, and then you add in the fact that they're over there at the Bank of England talking to them about banknote designs, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah,
Hold on, Pimp. I'll send you the information. So the 1931 Fasal note is the old King Fasal note. So it says, look,
I know that is, but that was given to Al-Lak as a gift.
yeah, and it represents reinstatement. It represents going back in time. That I have that information. Huh?
Oh no, I had that note. I read it. It just sounds to me like somebody in one of these Dinar Guru people just put those things together. But I mean, the fact that they're off the exotic currency list, that's a good thing. All right, so let's be happy about that without jumping the gun. I don't want to jump the gun too much, but they definitely could go on to Forex. So coming off the exotic currency list, as well as talking to the Bank of England about, you know, technology for new banknotes, that's really good.
And then, what else was I going to tell you?
I can tell you guys. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on to read. I can see there's people in there telling me hi, and I just want to say hi to everybody. So I apologize if I can't. I'm trying to look, but I'm definitely getting old. So my eyes, I'm squinting over here.
So, can you explain the whole fintech thing and the whole digital thing and the machine that they're using? So the fintech is basically the QFS, correct?
No, fintech is a company that is helping them with their banking system. Fintech helps people all around the world, banks all around the world, making sure that they have all the necessary software, all the current, you know, standards and stuff like that, procedures and standards. You know, making sure banks are falling in line. That's who fintech is. As far as the QFS system is concerned, I'm the only person that actually found it. I found it in Spain. There's a computer. It's called the D-Wave. You guys can look it up. D-Wave. That is the QFS system. It's only one bank right now actively, and that's in Spain. It's been there for a couple of years. Okay, so you guys go look it up. It's D-Wave. As a matter of fact, you can buy stock in it. I've been watching it go up and up and up. So I'm thinking about posting it on my stock watch list. You know what I mean?
So basically, Pimp, let me ask you this. Do you think that Iraq has to go first? Or is it a possibility that Vietnam can go because they're ready and they're already on Forex and they're already floating, just like Indonesia?
What do you mean?
Change the rate.
What do you mean go?
Like, do you think say
I
Vietnam?
mean, Vietnam doesn't have any obstacles, not like Iraq does. You know, there's the crap that Iraq still needs to do, and they're working on it, and it's getting there quickly. But I mean, like, Vietnam has been good for a while. The problem is their politicians are corrupt. That's their biggest hurdle, is their politicians. So I can explain to you how this works. What happens is these politicians, they get paid in U.S. dollars, not Vietnamese dollars. They get paid in U.S. dollars. Then they take and they trade it straight across for the Vietnamese dollars, and then they live like kings and queens. You know what I mean? Because the exchange rate is ridiculous. Now, if you paid them in Vietnam dong, well, then they'd probably do something to change the rate. But they get paid in U.S. dollars, so they trade it for their own currency, and they live high off the hog. So it's really hard to get them to.
But see, there's the thing. The Vietnam PM just met with Marco Rubio, and Marco Rubio basically said that he welcomes Vietnam, the same with Iraq, to have prosperity and everything. So my question is, since Vietnam and Indonesia are already floating on Forex because they were never taken off, right? Is it possible that they could just flip the switch any day and change the rate? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're already on the Forex.
That's what I'm saying. They're already floating on Forex.
Yeah, so nobody changes their rate. Once you're free floating, the market determines your rate. So think supply and demand. So they
That's
have
what I
nothing to
say
do
all
with
the
it.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. So they don't have anything to do with it. Once you're free flowing, it's the market. So people are talking about, what do I think the exchange rate is going to be for Iraqi Dinar? I go, what do you mean? It's free floating. The bank don't have nothing to do with it. It's the people. The market is going to determine the exchange rate, the supply and demand. So they think so in order for them to come off the exotic currency list, liquidity must not be an issue for them. So that's good, even though I've seen recent articles that said they had some liquidity issues, but apparently not.
Yeah, they're off, and that's what I'm saying. Like when the banker told me, and then 2 days later I checked, and they're not exotic. I was like, wow, like that's huge. You understand what I'm saying? And he knew that because they have a list of it. You understand what I'm trying to say? And
Yeah.
the oil and everything is supposed to start flowing 6 a.m. and Sudani wasn't allowed in the USA. Trump didn't give him the visa to come to the U.S. because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. And Trump basically said, if you don't get it done by the end of September, by the 28th, I'm putting sanctions on you. All kinds of stuff is going to happen. Did you see that article?
What did
And
Trump want him
Pimpy,
to do?
huh?
What did Trump tell him to do?
He needs him to, first of all, they're pulling out the military. You know about this, right? He needs
Yes.
them to get rid of that, or like stop talking that they're doing this, that, and the other. He wants oil to start flowing. He wants all this stuff. You know what I mean? He wants to change rate because Trump needs to just like, what's his name? Clinton in 91 with Kuwait. Like they have a major like deficit that they have to clear. You understand what I'm trying to say? And Sudani's just talking. I think Sudani's corrupt, Pimpy. I'm sorry. I think he's been holding this back the whole time. And then there's an article that says he's rushing the parliament, he's rushing the calm, and he wants to make an announcement only he can make. You understand what I'm saying? And then he says in the article, oh, we were waiting 18 years and everybody's about to be prosperous globally. So how the hell is anybody going to be prosperous at 1310?
Well, a couple of things. Donald Trump wouldn't tell them to change their rate. He doesn't have the right to do it. They're a sovereign country. So he's not making them change their rate. If they wouldn't do that, and Trump wouldn't have anything to do with that. If they were going to get pressured by somebody, they would get some pressure
They're
from the
pressured by
IMF.
Trump. Well, I
No,
think they're
not.
pressured by the U.S. and the U.S. told them they can no longer. Jordan has to stop sending them dollars too. Did you? I'll
Yeah, well,
send you
that's
all
it.
these
That's
articles.
what happens. So there's a lot of these countries that have sanctions, and they use Iraq to launder, their currencies to get the U.S. dollars. And just so you understand that, Clinton was not the president in '91. That was Bush one.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that, like, I'll send you the articles, but a
Hmm?
lot has happened in Iraq that is pointing to the fact that they're ready. And the fact that they're off the exotic currency list is a huge sign. And then article just came out right now that they're connected to all their banks are connected to the global system, which in my opinion is the Forex.
No, two different things, sweetie. Just be careful, okay? The Forex is a system that's separate from their banking system, okay? Now, the banking system, if they're saying they're connected, which is something I've always been worried about, that how all these central banks around the world are all tapping into one another. It's a one way they learn how to monitor people, your business. They put you in a central bank digital currency, and you all use one system, and they monitor all your bullshit. I don't like it, but it's a different situation altogether. So the banking system is going to be ran by the fintech and also the Bank of International Settlement. Okay. The Forex is something totally different. It's like a platform for you to trade, like stocks. That's what the Forex is. Instead of trading stocks, you're trading currencies. That's all. That's all. That's the only difference. So just think of the Forex as a trading platform. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I understand all that. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is I can one of my mods put in that article please in the chat so Pimpy could see it.
Oh, I'm blind.
But
It's
the
bad
thing
right now. I
is,
can't.
they have been beta testing the Iraqi dinar. They have been beta testing the Vietnamese dong. they have been beta testing the Indonesian rupiah.
What do you mean by beta? See, I'm one of these people. I need more details. What do you mean by beta testing?
Okay. So basically, it's like the Forex. Like there's a back part of the Forex. I know you don't believe in that, but I've seen proof of it. You understand what I'm saying? So what they do is they beta test to see how high the rate can go based on supply and demand before they actually put it on Forex. So it's like a placeholder. You understand what I'm trying to say? And
yeah, just so
the
you understand
dinar,
it. So just so you understand, if you want to call it in the back room or call it whatever, but currencies, even though they might not be trading on the Forex still might run. You know what I mean? Like a live run with the current value of the currency on there without posting it. That's one way they monitor it as well.
that's
Okay,
what I'm
it
talking
might not
about.
be
That's the
available to
beta
you guys,
test.
but well, it's not beta testing. Beta testing when they're testing to see if it works. This is ongoing. They've already been part of the Forex before they got their ass in trouble. See what I'm saying? So they were already part of it. They just stopped their action on Forex is what they did. They suspended it. So in the background, or whatever you want to call the back rooms or whatever, the background of it's not that they're beta testing it. It's just ongoing. So it's their way to monitor it, because there's still countries that trade with Iraq. You know what I mean? And they need to get an idea of what the value of the currency is. That's why on the Forex you might not see an exchange rate, but there'll be other exchanges that will show you an actual exchange rate for the Iraqi dinar. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
And then
okay.
another thing I want you to explain. Can you please explain double dipping? So in what I was always told, double dipping, say the Vietnam dong changes, right? And then you go out and you make a whole bunch of money off the Vietnamese dong. And Pimpy, click on that link. That's where that article about the global reset is. The link Carreras Abraham just posted. And then you go out and you buy a whole bunch of like say dinar or other currencies that haven't changed yet to make more of a profit. Am I correct about that, or can you explain double dipping? Tim? LS, I'm trying to explain all these things to him. I want Pimpy to explain the whole digital QFS stuff. Pimp, are you there?
Yeah, you know how to push the damn link. It kicks me right out of this meeting.
Yeah. Can you explain to them about double dipping? What is double dipping?
Well, double dipping has lots of meaning. It just depends on how you're implying it. What do you mean, like double dipping?
So say the Vietnam dong goes, right? And then I make profit off of the Vietnamese
You
dong.
drive me crazy because I listen to you guys talk sometimes, and this is how you talk. So when you say let's say the Vietnam dong goes, what do you mean? Like,
okay, say the Vietnamese dong, say today, they increase their value, okay?
Oh,
I
they
use
changed the
that,
exchange rate. Okay.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I use that profit and say the dinar is still at 13.10, and I go buy a whole shit ton of dinar. You understand what I'm saying? To make more of a profit. That's what I was told double dipping was. But apparently people are saying that I'm wrong. But can you explain your definition of double dipping?
Well, in order for your scenario to work, there would have to be two locations with two different values of the Iraqi dinar, where you're going to the one place that's willing to give you more American dollars for the Iraqi dinar, and then you take the money over to another location that you might be able to buy the dinar for a cheaper price. That's in your scenario. That's what I mean when people go, well, in country it's going to be this rate. And I go, there is no in country, out of country, guys. Stop. Just for that reason. Because what you do is you go sell it where you can get the most money, take your profits, go over to the cheaper side, buy more dinar, and do this loop. You know what I mean? And get rich off of it. So,
Yeah, you make double the profit. So you make double the profit because off
well,
the
however
money
much
that
the
you already
profit is,
made.
I don't know if that's going to be double. I just, however much you want to make of it. Like if let's put it this way, let's pretend like I'm buying $10,000 worth of dinar, right? And then I get over here and I'm able to sell it for like 15,000. You know what I mean? I mean that's like doubling it, but still 150% of my profit. Yeah, that's kicking ass. You know, that's why I keep telling people. That's why you're not going to see two different rates. There's no in country, out of country. Once they change the rate, it's global. That's it. It's for everybody. Okay. We have our own currency that we exchange against our Iraqi dinar. We'll have our own rate. Each country will have their own exchange rate against the Iraqi dinar. I think that's where a lot of the confusion is. You know what I mean? And I go, but because they're like, well, if we get $3, you know, my friends in, you know, over in Japan, if they get $3, I go, no, it might be $3 for us. It might be $7 for them, not US dollars, but 7 Japanese, you know what I mean? Their currency, whatever the fuck their currency is. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but my thing is that like I was what do you call it? My thought was always like you make money off of one currency and then you buy more at a lower rate. That's double dipping. But
sometimes you might get, some people get lucky like that. They find a place where they can buy it on discount if they buy in bulk, and that's what they're doing. They're, you know, running around making money off of it. But it's going to be very hard to do because once the rate's out, usually it's universal. Everybody uses the same exchange rate. I mean, double dipping. I mean, I don't double dipping when it comes to currencies. I don't know if you can apply that.
I'm trying to say this. Okay, let me explain again because I don't think you're okay. So say I make money off the Vietnamese dong, okay? And dinar is still the same rate of 13.10.
Okay.
So using my profit that I made from the Vietnamese dong, I go say to Exchange of America and I buy a shit ton of Iraqi dinar at the 13.10 rate. And then when the IQD changes, I make profit of both currencies, but I just doubled my investment in the dinar. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was able to use the money I made from the dong.
That's just, you know, people make these types of investment choices all the time. I wouldn't call it double dipping. Let's say it's good. You say to yourself, okay, I'm confident that the Iraqi dinar is going to change its exchange rate. I'm going to make money off it. I'm confident that's what's going to happen with the Vietnam dong. So the Vietnam dong goes first, you get your dollars, and you rush over real quick because you know in your heart pretty soon the IQD is going to change its exchange rate, and you buy more IQD. That's not double dipping. That's people do that all day long on the Forex. They swap currencies. You know what I mean? They'll play one currency against another. Fuck, George Soros bankrupted an entire country using it. You know what I mean? He manipulated the markets and bankrupted an entire country. Made billions.
Did you see the link about the global stuff I just sent you?
Yeah, but it pulled it up, but it kicked me off your thing here. I'll check it out.
But in my opinion, I mean, I know you could agree, disagree, but from like everything, like I was on hours yesterday looking at the Treasury, the OFAC, the Department of State, you know, all kinds of sites, CBI, SVB, like the Central Bank of Vietnam. I mean, you know what I mean? Everywhere. And everywhere it points to that they're all going to increase in value. They all are restricted. Even on the OFAC, when I clicked on, because Iran just got more sanctions, so Iran is no longer there's an article. I don't have it specifically in front of me right now, but Iran is like screwed right now. They just put a whole bunch of sanctions on them, and the fact that Marco Rubio is saying that both Vietnam and Iraq are going to be prosperous. There's no way they're going to be prosperous at 26,000 or 1310. There's no way. You understand what I'm saying? And as you explained, the HCL is for government, like programs like welfare and all like that for the citizens. And the oil credits, there's oil credits and then there's non-oil revenues, right? For the HCL, they need to value it. They need a valuation for the HCL.
Well, the HCL, all that is... No, there's nothing. That has nothing to do with the exchange rate. I know people keep saying it does, but it doesn't. Okay, sweetie, all that is how they're going to share the revenue between the governances within Iraq, because there's so many different provinces, so many different sectors. So the Iraqi government is saying, this is how we're going to distribute the money, not to the people, to the government, to the tiny governments that run each little province, the leaders. Then they use that money to assist the people is what they're supposed to do. And that's when they use it to help them with social welfare programs, you know what I mean? Social programs and like that. They don't actually get the money. The governments do, but they use it to help the people. Poor people is what they're supposed to do with the HCL laws.
Yeah, but in order for them to distribute the money to the governmental programs, they need to value. They need to know how much to send. And my point is, if they were going to do that at 1310, they would have been done it. But yet, out of Sudani's mouth, he said we've been waiting 18 years, and they
Yeah,
haven't
well,
started
the
the
reason why
oil.
they haven't done it is because they can't agree on the displaced people. That's part of the HCL law, which is during when Iraq got invaded, a lot of people ran out to the desert and hid. You know what I mean? So the part of the agreement is who's going to take them. You know what I mean? Kurdistan's like, we don't want them. The Iraqi government's like, well, we don't want them. You know, and some of the
Well,
Jordan people are like,
they
but
also was an
that's always been a
article.
hang up. You know what I mean? I'm saying to you, but that's always been an HCL hang up. You know what I mean? Is placing displaced people, and then you distribute
Well,
the
I'm
monies.
gonna send you. I'm going to send you the article that has to do with the HCL, where it literally says in the article about the tripartite budget, the 23, 20 to the 25. And they said that they made an amendment in February and that they had a temporary price of $16 per barrel, temporary price that was changed. It says it right in the article. I'll send it to you. So to me, if it was temporary and they made an amendment, they changed the rate. Because they're like 1310. Imagine doing. I know they were using the dollar and everything, but at 1310, I mean they're already in the major deficit. Okay, how can alone they can't use the dinar at 1310? They can't. They can't float. They can't do anything. They would have done it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah,
just how
if that
I
was
feel.
true, if that was true, they wouldn't be able to make buildings, roads, or anything else for the past 20 years. They've had a shitty exchange rate. They could still
Yeah, but
use
they
the
were
money.
using the
Yeah,
USD. They were using the
here's
United.
here's what you're not understanding. They don't give a shit about the exchange rate because the only people they do the exchange rate with is another country. But their own people, they just use the currency. The people ain't going in and swapping dollars for the exchange rate. They don't care. Has no effect on them whatsoever. The exchange rate only affects your trading partner, your other country, not the people. That makes sense? So the people, they don't care what, of course they want more purchasing power. And if the value of your currency goes up, well, then you can buy more things. And how is that possible? Well, let's say your purchasing power goes up because your exchange rate grows in value. And you can buy more goods to import. So it's cheaper for you, right? And then they got a cheaper price on goods. So they pass that on to the people. You know what I mean? And people get to buy goods for cheaper than what they would normally pay for it. That's how that works. But the people don't. I mean, our exchange rate here in the United States changed all the time. Can you tell me in the past 2 years how many times our exchange rates changed?
Yeah, but my point is they
No, hold on.
can't
Listen,
trade
can
with
you
other
tell me?
countries at 1310.
Can you tell me how many rate changes have we had in the last 2 years?
But
You
they
can't.
were using the dollar. Now they can't use the dollar.
Sweetie, what I'm saying is this. I'm not talking about Iraq. I'm asking you about the United States. See, you see what I'm
What
saying?
about?
You never pay attention to the U.S. exchange rate, do you? No, there's no reason for you to. You just go by living your everyday life, buying your groceries. You go, oh, damn, things are a little bit more expensive than before. You know what I mean? That means the value of your dollar is just shitty. Okay? And so, there's gas costs more, things cost more, inflation's kicking in, that devalues your currency. But we don't ever pay attention to it because we just go about our day every day. Just like Iraq. They don't give a shit about the exchange rate, the citizens, because it don't affect them. I mean, it does, don't get me wrong, it indirectly does, like I just said. When they import goods, they might have to pay more for those goods, but it has nothing to do with their exchange rate. They're not going, okay, I'm going to take my Iraqi dinar into the bank and exchange it for more Iraqi dinar. That doesn't make no sense. See what I'm saying?
But listen to this.
Huh?
And yes, it's true that IMF did give the green light. My thing is when I was at my last appointment,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I had my currency, they verified it, everything. So for my
Wait,
following
real
appointment
quick.
that I
Now,
was
does
supposed
that
to
make
go,
sense? What I was trying to say, I want to make sure you got that. What I'm saying, because you're not the first person I heard
yeah,
say
I
something
got.
like that. Okay, so the exchange rate doesn't affect the citizens except for their purchasing power. They don't give a shit otherwise. Okay, so only with your trade partner, whether you can buy more goods or not, you have to pay more for goods. You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure that you understand what that means.
Well,
What were
my
you
thing
saying?
is that, like, the bank, first of all, they have the rates. You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to say? They
Yeah.
verified my currency. And then when
Yeah.
I was supposed to come back, they said once it hits Forex, you know what I mean? They were going to exchange
Yeah.
my money. Do you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then when it
Yeah.
didn't hit it, that's when, my appointment got postponed, and they uploaded that OFX digital system that he explained the fintech and all that to me and everything that has to do with it. My point is that I believe, you can disagree with me. I still love you. You know that. You're like my brother. But I believe that all three of these countries are going to increase their rate, and they're going to do it before the end of the month. That is my strong opinion. And, based on everything, like the whole thing with Allah
Oh,
being presented with that note, is saying they're going back to old times. Vietnam given the green light by the IMF,
well, then see,
Indonesia meeting with Trump again.
for me being me, I listen and I respect what you have to say, but then I'm going to say my question to you be is, you're saying, in my opinion, it's going to happen, and then I'm going to say to you, well, how did you form your opinion? What gives you that idea that it's going to happen within a month? Why do you think that way? What prompted you to say, oh, after I do this, I'm sure it's going to be done in a month? So, because now I'm curious where you're getting that information from.
Well, first of all, I'm getting it like a lot of research. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking to when I went to my appointment at Wells Fargo, talking to the banker. You know what I mean? Other people that I talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are in the know. And like my financial advisor, I've talked to lawyers. I know somebody in the military. Somebody that works on military, like in works
Oh,
for
you
the
guys are driving me
DOD.
crazy with that shit, man. I tell you, the military ain't got nothing to do with
No,
it.
no, no. But the whole thing is
I hear you.
that I
No,
do a
you should
lot of
be doing
research.
everything you're talking about. You should be doing. You're doing the research. Good, which is more than what a lot of other people do. They don't do the research. You're doing it. That's a good. That's how you say it. That's how you back yourself up. You say, I drew my conclusion because after I read some notes that are on the CBI. I'm just making this shit up right now. After reading some articles on the CBI and then some articles with the IMF, and I think about what A, B, and C are doing. From there, I'm able to draw my conclusion that this is where they're going to be by the end of the month. You know what I mean? That's how you're supposed to do it. A lot of people in the dinar community drive me fucking crazy because that's not what they do. They go, not that I'm making fun of anybody, just they go, oh, my feeling is okay, good. That's a good. You got a good feeling. But how did you come up with that? How did you come to that conclusion? You know what I mean? Because that helps your listeners out if they can see where your train of thoughts coming from. I hope that makes sense. Like, you're saying, this is how I got my idea. Like when I talk about shit, I always show everybody all the articles. You guys, I'm talking about this and I'm going to show you where I got the information from. And then you're more than welcome to have access to it and figure it out for yourself. But, if you don't got the time, I'm explaining to you what it is I'm looking at. But I'll show them the receipts every time. But
But
sometimes
that's what
I'm
I'm
like,
doing too.
no, it's
I
good. That's
spend
what you should be
hours
doing.
researching. I
Hmm?
send you the articles, and you were even surprised when you saw the IMF article about Vietnam and when they were off the exotic currency list. You were even surprised. And my point is, if they were
No, that
not
was a
planning to
good
put their
article. I mean, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? But if you go, here's my thing. Now, look, everybody's different. This is what I do. I'm not saying you should. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your channel. But if you're gonna tell them, hey, they're off the exotic currency list, a lot of those people have no idea what the hell that means. So you should say, if I'm gonna bring it up, then I better study what that means to the currency and what that means to us who are invested in the currency. That's how I know so much shit about currencies. Over the years, you read everything about it. Does it make sense? So, when people go, hey, Pimpy, have you heard of this? And I go, yeah, what about it? And I go, do you know what this means? Yeah, well, this is what it means. I'll explain to you what it means because I've probably read it a million times. But there's a lot of content creators out there, sweetie. You probably heard them. They'll go, talking to my friend who has an NDA, they're telling me it's
yeah,
next
that shit
month.
cracks me up. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I do my own research, and my
yeah,
thing is
as you should.
also
Yeah.
Trump. Yeah, Trump gave the Sudani a deadline to the 28th of September to get all his banks straightened out, all his shit straightened out, or he's going to be sanctioned. and it's just he's going to have a lot of problems, and they're going to start from the door. And it's like Sudani keeps playing games. In my opinion, I think he's corrupt. And he used to be with Maliki. I believe he's associated with the Iranian, like the people that are bad from Iran. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just, to me, based on everything. Like, I literally went on the Treasury, the OFAC, and I read all the years starting from 2012 up to 2025, all the sanctions that Iraq had, everything that, was taken, all the codes, all, sanctions on their currency, sanctions on their trade, sanctions on this, how they were removed, what they had to do. You know what I mean? How it says that they're now sovereign. They're now able to do their own shit. And they're being off the exotic currency list is a big thing. And the way that they did it so quickly is a huge thing. That means they're ready for Forex. They're ready to trade internationally
Well, I don't
with
know so
other
much they did it
countries.
quickly, but it's nice to know that they're off the list. You know what I mean? Because they've been in trouble for quite some time. So I don't know if I would label it quickly. That it's a big step though. And so,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
grateful you showed
Sudani
me that
said
article
18
because,
years. Sudani
huh?
said 18 years. Sudani said 18 years that they've been going through it. And
Yeah,
he's like,
that's about right.
everybody's going to be prosperous globally. And my opinion is nobody's going to be prosperous with 1310. And then I went on the on Department of State. I went on the central banks. I'm like looking so much, digging all this stuff. And it also says, like, I asked, I don't know how you feel about ChatGPT, but I asked ChatGPT specifically, what changed in Iraq and Vietnam to make them increase their exchange rate. And it gives me economic stability, blah, 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 everything that they have done to be stable, that they became a lot more stable, that they are floating. You understand what I'm trying to say? And
Mm-hmm.
Indonesia, the same thing. Iraq is, my opinion, back on Forex. Because when they got taken off the exotic currency list, they got put back on the Forex.
Well, let's see. Just go to the Forex. That's all you have to do. You just put IQD. All righty, let's go to the platforms or tools. And let's look up the IQD.
I don't think
All right.
they're like straight trading yet because they still got the 1310, but they are back. I mean, they're off the exotic thing. They have no restrictions on them.
No, their currency doesn't have no issues. That's a good
So
thing.
they could freely float it. They could freely put it on. And I'm
Yeah,
also
if Iraq wants to, they can do that.
And then you know what else I heard? That they were supposed to do a managed float, but then when I did some research and talked to some people, they said that it's going to be a free float, meaning it's going to be supply and demand, because if they do a managed float, it's still currency manipulation. It's still the central bank controlling it. And that's
Yeah, it
what
wouldn't be
Trump
on a
doesn't want.
Forex. A managed flow wouldn't be on a Forex.
Yeah, it's a free float. It's going to be based on supply and demand.
All right, it's listed on a Forex, but it's not active, so it's not ready yet.
Exactly. That's what the back thing is. And that's what it's like, beta
Yeah, but
tested.
sweetie, that's what we're waiting for. Is we want it to be active on the Forex. When that happens, that's when everything we've been waiting
Right.
for
And the
happens.
point is, I love you to pieces, but the point is they were not listed. And as soon as they got off the exotic currency, they became listed. And once they change their rate, that's when they're going to be trading internationally. And since they're already listed, all they have to do is flip the switch. And I think, in my opinion, all of those three countries are going at once. Because
Yeah, I
Indonesia
mean,
met
Iraq
with
was
Trump.
already
Huh?
Iraq used to float freely on a Forex. Then when they got themselves in trouble, they've been suspended. So they're already set up. And as
And
soon
they're
as
set up
it
because they're
just
about to change their rate.
yeah, well they don't. I mean, they don't change it. They just start trading freely, and
Right.
then we determine the exchange rate. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing what's happening with Iraq. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. That article that you gave me was a good thing. I was curious about it. I mean, I know what the exotic currency list is, but I was wondering where they were going with it. And to see that they're off that list, I'm like, yes, that's huge. You know what I mean?
Bro,
But
in my opinion, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think we're gonna make mad money off of all of this. And I think the Vietnam Dong is gonna be more of a profit because it's cheaper to buy. And you're gonna make like, that's just my based on everything, because all of them are super rich in oil and different assets. They have, Iraq has phosphorus. You know what I mean? Vietnam has different things I never knew about that they had, that the United States need. I was like reading, I was just like, wow, like this country is super rich. Indonesia too, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah, they got Iraq has a shit ton of gold that's just sitting on the surface, but there's no major mining company there mining it, which is crazy.
the BP stock, the BP went significantly up today. So
Probably did they
that's a sign of
the
something.
well that means did they open up the oil? Did they start letting it flow
No, the oil
from
starts at
Thursday?
6 a.m. That's what I'm telling you. And then Sudani came
That's
out
why
and
the
said,
stock went up.
yeah, they
I,
said, Sudani came out and said, we've been waiting 18 years, okay?
yeah.
And the agreement, this is a historical agreement that's going to give prosperity globally. They're not giving prosperity at 1310. I'll show you the art. I'll send you the article.
How
I
the
have it
hell
in
they're
print.
helping people globally? They need to help themselves before they do globally. You know what I mean? That's I don't know how they. What does he mean by that?
Well, I'm going
Uh,
to send you the article.
oh,
It
okay, yeah,
was a
please.
historic agreement, and they can't start the flow of oil until there's a new rate for evaluation, because they cannot do it at 1310. They're opening up the Turkey pipeline, the Iraq Turkey pipeline. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, but they don't. The oil doesn't determine the exchange rate, sweetie. That's the commodities. You know, for oil, if you go to the Brent crude oil price, it gives you the price per barrel. They just like we're talking about the currency being on a Forex, while the oil is on its own trading platform. But for oil, and the market determines the value of the oil, just like the market will determine the value of the currency, just like the market will determine all the stocks we bought in the Iraqi stock exchange. See that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and they also have non-oil revenues also as well. And the whole thing is, I'm going to send you all these articles so you understand better. But I want to read a bank story right now. Listen to this bank story.
Okay.
Hold on. When are you going to Wells Fargo, Pimpy, to have them verify your currency? Huh?
Oh, I mean, as soon as they're on the Forex, I'm taking it in.
I know you are, because you know you're going to make major bank, and then you're going to Las Vegas and party like a rock star. All right,
You
so
know what? I think when it first happens, there's going to be such a rush of people who've been talking about this for a long time, and then they're going to be so excited. They're going to tell their family members, and then you're going to see this rush to buy Iraqi dinar. That's going to drive the value of the currency up. So you're really going
yeah,
to,
like the whales
for
are
me,
going
I'm
to
going to be,
scoop it up.
yeah, for me, I'm going to be monitoring the shit out of it all day long. You know what I mean? And then as soon as it gets to a certain rate, I'm taking mine in right away.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
got
once
to
it
know
gets
when
to,
to hold them and when to fold them.
oh yeah, that's true.
All right, so let me read this bank story. Hold on. I live in a small town in Arkansas and use a small branch of Bank OZK for my business account. I have been able to purchase VND from them. Yesterday, I went into this tiny branch, only has 4 people working there. They know me by name when I come in. The top person in the branch who helped set up my business account and processes my VND purchase was there. So I sat down with her to ask if their headquarters in Little Rock had private banking and wealth management. She confirmed they do. I explained about the RV of these currencies and asked how I could set up an appointment with someone at the headquarters. She had never heard of the RV, so she asked for the currencies I hold, and I listed them for her. When I said the dinar, she said, "Oh, we had a customer who needed some cash recently, and he came in with dinar, so we bought it back from him. It sounds like he should have held it onto it." So in a roundabout way,
See,
she let me.
we spoke about that. As I said, there are some banks out there that will allow you to exchange the Iraqi dinar, but it's going to give it to you at the current exchange rate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let me
So
finish. Hold
good.
on. And dinar, she said, "Oh, we had a customer who needed some cash recently, and came in with dinar, so we bought it back from him. It sounds like he should have held on to it." So in a roundabout way, she let me know they exchanged the IQD, and I already know they exchanged the VND, because the disclosure I signed when I buy it says they will buy it back at whatever the current rate is. She's
Yeah.
contacting headquarters to ask her wealth management contact if she can help me. I'm waiting to hear back for an appointment. Then she followed up. So I just went back to pick up the VND order, and the gal that helps me is so excited because she asked her husband about all of this last night. He works for Bank of America, but neither of them are high enough in the system to be in the know. But he went and looked up last night, I'm guessing, the BOA system, and it said that the VND is expected to be around $2 each within for the fourth quarter. She's going to order some today. She's so excited, and I think that number came from inside the Bank of America banking system. Did you listen to that story?
Well, if she did get that information from within the bank and she got caught, that's insider trading. So she needs to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if she spotted, help herself out. You know what I mean? By all means, boo boo, do you? If I spotted it and I got somehow access to information, and I knew in a week the exchange rate was going to be blah blah blah, man, I'd be buying a ton of that shit. You know what I mean? Get myself rich, your family members rich.
Pimp, how do we get Chief Mac on with us? I think it's only 2 people. Do you know how to do it?
No, that's the thing. Whenever you use YouTube to do like we're doing now, it's always for 2 people, but you have to use StreamYard. It allows you to do multiple people. You can do like 8, 9, 10 people on there if you want to get crazy. I'll have to show you how to use it.
All right, well, I'm going to
The other
bring
one is
him
Zoom.
on.
You know, they can do Zoom too.
Well, we're going to do a show with him on your channel, but I'm going to bring him on now. And
Alrighty.
yeah, so can you stay in the chat while he's on?
I can't. This chat's too tiny for me. I can see people. I see my name every now and then, but I can't read it. I'll try to go. I'll go on the chat on the big computer. See if it'll let me go on there and chime in. Okay.
Yeah, just stay on because I want you to hear what he has to say.
Okay.
I love you, my brother.
All right, sweetie. Love you right back. You guys just be careful. Tell your husband I said hi. To all
I
you guys
will.
out there, thank you for chiming in. We appreciate it. I'll catch you later.